Hey everybody, welcome back to MTG Killer Bees! And as I said, we're gonna go ahead and open these 50 packs I pre-ordered. So, should we just open 10 right away, or should we do them individually? I actually have 51 here because I won one in that draft that I did terribly. Let's open the first one. Okay. Ooh, Evolving Wilds. Okay. Okay, Ultimatum. Destroy all non-land permanents your opponent's control. Ugh. For 7 though. In 3 different colors. I mean, it would be decent for Commander. But I can't see it in Standard very often. Okay. Let's try a 10 here. Ooh. Blow. Okay. The Cub Warden, whenever this creature mutates, create 2 1/1 white cat creature tokens. Okay. Zirda the Dawnwaker. Each card in your starting deck has an activated ability. Abilities you activate that aren't mana abilities cost 2 less to activate. This can't reduce it less than 1. Target creature can't block this turn. Okay. Trample 6/6. Whenever one or more creatures you control would with Trample deal combat damage to a player, create an XX green dinosaur beast creature token with Trample, where X is the amount of damage those creatures dealt to that player. Okay, that's interesting. So whenever you trample over something, you get another creature for the amount that was trampled on. That's going to be a little bitch to do in Paper Magic. Whenever this creature mutates, destroy target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. That's pretty good. Plus, if you don't want to use a mutate, it's a 3/3 flying with flash, just in case you need a quick blocker. Lava Brink Venturer enters the battlefield, choose odd or even. It has protection from converted mana cost of the chosen. I'm glad they're bringing protection back. I like protection. Crystalline Giant, at the beginning of combat on your turn, choose a kind of counter at random that Crystal doesn't have on it. Oi. First Strike, Death Touch, Hexproof, Lifelink, Menace, Reach, Trample, Vigilance 1. So every turn it gets another ability or a 1/1 counter. That's going to be another one that is a bitch to do in Paper. How do you... Let's see, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different types of counters. So what do? Just grab a bunch of those punch-out counters and mix them up in your hand and pull one at random? I'm not I like the idea, I just think it's too complicated for Paper Magic. Good for Arena, though. Anyway. Gyruda, Doom of Depths. It's a companion. Your starting deck contains only cards with even converted mana costs. When it enters the battlefield, each player puts top 4 cards of their library into their graveyard. Put a creature card with an even converted mana cost from among those cards onto the battlefield under your control. Okay. That you could actually build something decent around. Might play around with that. Mythos of Aluna. Okay, I've heard about this one. Create a token that's a copy of target permanent. If you spent red and green to cast a spell, create a token that, except when this permanent enters the battlefield, its creature fights up to 1 target creature. So, that secondary ability on it isn't the important part. I mean, how often are you going to be spending red and green to do it? The point is you can create a token that's a copy of any permanent, not just creatures. And that's amazing for 4. Titan's Nest. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. You may put that card into your graveyard. Exile a card from your graveyard. Add 1 colorless mana. Spend this mana only to cast a colored spell with X in its mana cost. I could see that being a niche card, but, I mean, obviously not a lot of people are going to play that. So how many people have enough X cards in their decks to make that worthwhile? Alright, and kablow! Mythic. Inspired Ultimatum deals 5. Can't even read. Target player gains 5 life, and it deals 5 damage to any target, then draw 5 cards. Alright, again for 7. I would like it better if it said gain 7 life, and it deals 7 damage, then draw 7 cards. Then it would be OP, I think. Offspring's Revenge. At the beginning of combat on your turn, exile target red, white, or black creature card from your graveyard. Create tokens, copy that card, except it's a 1/1. It gains haste until your next turn. That's weird. Okay. Your opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hands. That's going to be sick in Commander. It's only going to be good on Arena if companions become a big thing. Obosh, the Prey Piercer. The starting deck contains only cards with odd converted mana costs. Okay. If a source you control with an odd converted mana cost would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage. Wow. That's pretty good. You could definitely build around that. Especially since it's a hybrid red and black. If you go mono red, that'd be crazy. And here's the infamous Lutri, banned in Commander and Brawl immediately. Because it's basically an auto-include in any deck that it can go in. It's 3/2 flash, each non-land card in your starting deck has a different name for it to be your companion. When Lutri, the Spell Chaser, enters the battlefield, if you cast it, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. So, it basically says once per game you can copy any instant or sorcery you control for 3 mana. That's why it's banned in Commander and Brawl. General Kudro of Dreneth. It's a human soldier. Other humans you control, +1/+1. So humans are going to be a big thing, I think. I think people might be underestimating how good humans will be in this set. Whenever he or another human enters the battlefield under control, exile target card from an opponent's graveyard. Alright. Pay 2, sacrifice 2 humans, destroy target creature power 4 greater. Alright, he's got a built-in reprisal, basically. And Luminous Broodmoth, the infamous... Whenever a creature you control without flying dies, return to the battlefield under its owner's control with a flying counter on it. That is crazy awesome for 4 mana. I will not be surprised if this takes over, or at least gets a huge portion of Standard. That's crazy. Nethroi, Apex of Death. It's a 5/5 Death Touch lifelink, and it can mutate. Whenever this creature mutates, returning a number of target creature cards with total power 10 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, and that is pretty darn good. 5/5 Death Touch for... I can't speak. 5/5 Death Touch and lifelink for 5 is really good, but then if you can actually use the other ability, it gets even better. And then Zagoth Triome. These are going to be really nice in Commander as well, because they are Swamp, Forest, Island. They're the 3 basic land types of each one. They tap for 3 different colors, and they have cycling, so if you don't need them, you can pitch them. That's pretty dang good. Okay, and kaplow. Okay, starting down here this time. Yorion, Sky Nomad. Bird Serpent. 4/5 flying. It's a companion, and your starting deck has to contain at least 20 cards more than the minimum deck size. Okay. So if you're playing limited, you would have to build a 60 card deck to include this. When Yorion enters the battlefield, exile any number of other non-land permanents you own and control. Turn those cards to the battlefield, begin the next end step. I don't think that's... If it had Flash, that would be sick as hell. But it doesn't, so I can't see that being super crazy good. Got one of those already? Okay, Eerie Ultimatum. White, black, and green Ultimatum, returning a number of permanent cards with different names from your graveyard to the battlefield. That one is awesome. That one's definitely worth a 7. You could build around that pretty easily. Alright. Karuga the Macro Sage. It is a companion. Your starting deck contains only cards with converted mana cost 3 or greater, and land cards. When he enters the battlefield, draw a card for each other permanent you control with converted mana cost 3 or greater. Okay, so he likes big stuff. So if you built a heavy ramp deck with big spells, which wouldn't be too hard to do with green and blue, that could be pretty good. The Sharknado. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create an XX blue shark creature token with flying, where X is that spell's converted mana cost. And you can do that for a 6 mana, or you could cycle it for 2 and X. When you cycle Shark Typhoon, create an XX blue shark creature token with flying. So it's double plus good here. If you have the 7 mana late game, it's pretty good. But I think the cycling ability is really where it's going to shine. You know, you pitch it, draw another card, but then you also get a flying creature in exchange. So Cheville, Bane of Monsters. We already saw that, right? Yeah. Did we? No, this is the first time. Okay. 1/3 Death Touch. At the beginning of your upkeep, if your opponents control no permanents with bounty counters on them, put a bounty counter on target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. Whenever a permanent opponent controls with a bounty counter on it dies, you gain 3 life and draw a card. Pretty good. I like that. Luca Coppercoat Outcast, our first planeswalker. He enters battle with 5 loyalty. His +1, exile the top 3 cards of your library. Creature cards exiled this way gain. You may cast this card from exile as long as you control a Luca planeswalker. Alright. So he's milling your deck. Sort of. You still get to keep any creatures. -2 exile. Target creature you control, then reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card with higher converted mana cost. Put that card onto the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. -7, each creature control deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. I'm kind of mediocre on that one. Bleh. For 5 mana. And the Ozolith. I think everybody's seen this in previews, right? This is sick as hell. Costs 1 mana, legendary artifact. Whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters on it, put those counters on the Ozolith. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if the Ozolith has counters on it, you may move all counters from the Ozolith onto target creature. I mean, that's going to be insanely good in this set with all the counters floating around. So, and down to 20. Kapow. 2 Mythic Wilds. Are we running out of rares here? Mythos of Nethroi. For 3 mana, destroy target non-land permanent if it's a creature, or if green and white was spent to cast this spell. Okay. So it's for 3 mana, destroy target creature, or For black, white, and green, destroy target non-land permanent. That's if you have the 3 colors in your deck already, that's good. If you're playing mono black or black plus not green and white, that's probably not great. Labyrinth Raptor, 2/2 Menace. Whenever a creature you control with Menace becomes blocked, defending player sacrifices a creature blocking it. Creatures you control with Menace get +1/+1 until end of turn if you pay red and black. Okay, so Menace heavy deck could be good. Gigantha the Wellspring for 4 and Gruul hybrid. It's a companion. No card in your starting deck has more than one of the same mana symbol in its mana cost. Okay, so no spells that have black black or red red or etc. And you can tap it to add Wooburg. This mana can't be spent to pay generic mana costs. This could be really, really good. In Commander, this is going to be really, really good. Alright, let's see. Another 10. Well, final 10. Wow. Okay, Song of Creation. I think I remember this. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. Whenever you cast a spell, draw 2 cards. At the beginning of your end step, discard your hand. So you could build around that. I don't think it's going to see a ton of play in Standard. Maybe I'm wrong. Lurrus of the Dream Den. 3/2 lifelink. And it's a companion. Each permanent card in your starting deck has converted mana cost 2 or less. So this one likes small things, unlike that big walrus guy. During each of your turns, you may cast 1 permanent spell with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard. Alright. Hunted Nightmare. 4/5 Menace. When Hunted Nightmare enters the battlefield, target opponent puts a Death Touch counter on a creature they control. So they're going. This is like in reference to the old Hunted cards. Like the one I can think of is Hunted Wumpus, which is always one of my favorites. Winota, Joiner of Forces. 4/4. Whenever a non-human creature you control attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may put a human creature card from among them onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. It gains indestructible until end of turn. Put the rest of the cards. That is crazy. It's whenever a non-human creature you control attacks. So if you attack with 2 non-humans, this triggers twice. And you get to put out maybe 2 humans if you build the deck right. That could be really, 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 really good. Snapdax, Apex of the Hunt. 3/5 double strike, and it mutates. Whenever this creature mutates, it deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker and opponent controls, and you gain 4 life. Okay. This is really good. I'm kind of enamored with that. I want to build around that now. Anyway, Mythos of Snapdax. Each player chooses an artifact, a creature, an enchantment, and a planeswalker from among the non-land permanents they control, then sacrifices the rest. So it's a balance for 4. If you spent black and red, so if you do black, red, white, white, you get to choose the permanents for each player instead. So then it's a balance where you choose what people are sacking. Okay. And that was the end of the pre-release pack. I also got the Vivian Planeswalker for pre-ordering. And I think that is going to wrap up this video. We will see how Ikoria ages, but so far I'm liking it. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time. Those are some killer bees.